Okay, let's go. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Pierre, your host. Welcome back to my stream. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. I know that I did. Thanks for asking. So we are back on the same timeline as in the States. We have moved our clocks forward 1 hour here in France. So we're 6 hours difference again with the United States, at least with the East Coast of the US, so that my schedule that I wrote out and that I show at the end of the show or before on Instagram is back on course. So we got that settled. The other good news is that it's a lot warmer since Saturday, actually, and compared to last week, which was really, really brutal. It was the winter's last stand, apparently. And a couple days I didn't even bother changing in my work clothes because just the idea of undressing in the cold was too much. So anyways, let's start off like we do every day by going over to the computer, and we're going to check out what we did last Friday, and we'll take our day from there. So what did we do last Friday? Well, basically we started off by adding this plant on the bottom of our painting. We put down the first coat to our nuclear dude. Then we finished off with black paint the heart and the surroundings. And we actually added a second coat to our plants at the bottom once we finished the first coat to our nuclear guy. So what are we going to do today? We are going to continue and we're going to ping pong back and forth to allow the paint to dry. So what I would like to do first, I would like to do the eyeballs to the guy, because I might need 2 coats, and then I'm going to put the second coat of that, the details to this. We'll work on the details of this ring, and then hopefully we can come back. Well, we'll take it from there. Let's see how long that takes. So, what are we going to do? First, we said the eyeball. So I think I'm going to do that in red. So I'm going to, here we go. That's pretty practical. Do that with some cadmium red. Nice bright red. Might have to put 2 coats though, but anyways. So let me grab a palette for that. I think I could use the cap to my paint jar. Get my good old knife out. Oh, it's so nice to be in the studio and not have your hands freezing, I must say. And it's only going to get better as it gets warmer. And then I'll start bitching because it's way too hot. But that's the way it goes. There we go. Clean off the knife like usual. And get the right paintbrush. I don't need a big one, not very large. Oh, it really doesn't matter. Maybe I'll get something just a little bit smaller. This looks like it'll do. Let me just get that wet. Then I am going to do, like usual, stir the paint with some water to get the right consistency so it flows on the canvas and so that I have total control over this paint. So I noticed that little pop-up window just opened when I switched cameras. At this point it doesn't really matter, but it is kind of annoying. I like that window to pop up when I ask it to pop up, but not on its own. Got to show this technology who's master. While we still can, right? Before the Terminator comes. Okay, so my paint looks just the way I wanted. I am going to bring over camera number 1 a little closer. Just put him a little bit offside so I'm not in front of him. Just move things around here. Get organized for our week of work. There we go. Got that guy all ready. Let me get rid of the little pop-up. And we are going to switch cameras just so we can get to work. There we go. This will have a black outline around it anyways. But like I said earlier, it might need 2 coats for it to be nice and opaque. There we go. Okay, that was easy. Easy and fun. Probably we'll have to put another coat a little later when we're done with all the details on the rest of the canvas. So what are we going to do next? Next, we said we would put the second coat to our painting. So I'm going to start with the cobalt, which, oh, wait a minute. Maybe that isn't cobalt. Maybe that's just cerulean blue, and this is lighter cerulean blue mixed with white. Okay. I think that's probably what I did do. Cobalt blue, which I used to use quite a bit for the darker part, but I kind of switch things around a little bit, changing colors here and there. So let's get the cerulean blue, which is right here. Let's get another nice palette. Apparently this is the palette I used the other day. Okay, no big deal. Well, go. And what paintbrush am I going to use for this? So I am going to pick a soft brush just so it doesn't leave any streak marks. Yes, maybe something like this. And just like before, I'm going to work this just to get the right consistency of this paint. When we are mixing colors, I usually go to camera number 1 and we do it together. But since really there's nothing to do except add water, it's not really that interesting, nor is it that complicated. Definitely not mathematic. Anyways, it's not mathematics. You don't have to be a math teacher. Boy. After speaking French all weekend, now I have to get back into my English mode. Kind of rusty, I must admit. I hope I have enough paint here. Doesn't look like it. Let's try it. If I don't have enough, I'll just add some more. I am going to add one more big drop of water, though. Make it just a little bit more liquid. Second coat should cover very easily, so I don't have to have it as thick as the first coat, which needs a second coat, no matter how thick I make it, just because you can see the streaks of the paintbrush. The second coat will hide all of that. So, this is done. Let me just get my mask guy in the right frame here. I'll pull back the camera a little bit. There we go, so I don't have to change it every few seconds. And let's get back to work. So, Very nice. Another little drop of water. There we go. Very cool. There we go. Very good. This is nice and opaque. Right down here, nice and opaque, so I don't have to put a second coat right there. What the heck? Looks like I missed a little bit right here though. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So after the 7 weeks of electrical problems that we had and no electricity in the building, last week was really the first week where I really enjoyed painting again. The few weeks before that, I was kind of rusty. Everything didn't flow the way I wanted it to. But last week was pure pleasure, and this week I hopefully will be the same. I see no reason why it wouldn't be. I'll knock on wood. We know Murphy's Law, how it can be kind of funky sometimes. So, we got the dark cerulean blue done. I'm going to add some white paint to that. Get a nice mixture for the light cerulean blue. Where's my knife? Here you are. And I am going to add a little more of the darker cerulean blue because I definitely will not have enough. Yes, I have quite a bit more of a surface. There we go. Let's add that white paint right there. And right there. Now this we can mix together on the other camera. Let me just kind of decide what paintbrush I'm going to use first, though. Should I use one of these wider ones? I like these because the hairs are very soft, which means it doesn't leave any streak marks of the paintbrush, which is kind of ideal for the second coat. And okay, I'll come back. I wanted to fix something right there, but I'll do it afterwards. Right now, let's just get the second coat down. I'll wet the brush. There we go. I'll move this can of water over here. And I'll switch over to camera number 1 so that we can mix all this together. All right, there I have some water, which is very practical. And let's just mix it all together. There we go. Beautiful light baby blue. Very good. I hope I'm going to have the control that I want with this paintbrush. If not, I'll switch. But so that looks pretty good. I guess I'll bring the camera back up. Move it over to the side so I'm not in front of the lens. There we go. And I'll tackle the whole thing right now. Might as well. Very nice. Yes, there we go. All the paintbrush marks are gone. There we go. Again, there will be a black outline between the colors, so I don't really need to touch. There we go. Just like that. Whoops, a little drop of water there running down my painting. Ooh la 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 la. Fortunately, you can wipe it right off. And I'll add more paint to the brush to avoid that. So where was I? Going right down this here, trying to correct this little area. There we go. We'll add the details when it's all dry. This is just the background, of course. Now there won't be any black outline on the bottom of this, so I want to make sure that the bottom is nice and opaque. And I'll just go back over what I did before. There we go. Yes, just like that. Why am I being so picky? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, there we go. One quick look everywheres. I will have to come back with the cobalt, with this darker cerulean, just to add some shading all the way around. There we go. Okay, very good. I guess I'll just move the camera to where I want to go next, which is going to be on this little green plant. This is what we're going to tackle next. Put some little details on that, make it a little nicer. But first, let's clean up a little bit. There we go. Just rinse off our little paintbrush here. So on this green plant, I was thinking instead of doing the lighter green like I did over here or on these leaves, of doing it white. I mean, doing the same thing, but this time white paint. What is that? Just a little bit of paint that ran down on that here too. Catch these little smidgens while it's wet. There we go. Okay, so that's not very complicated. Get white paint, a nice thin brush. As I get cerulean blue all over my hands for some reason. No big deal. I love it. So, let's move on. White paint. Now, what brush am I going to use? I'm going to need a thinner brush. Maybe something like this. We'll try this one. I don't want to put these other brushes away because I'll forget to wash them with soap. Which is what I like to do almost immediately. And you know what? I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to do that right now. It's going to take 10 seconds. I'm going to just go back to my little kitchen area where I have a sink and some soap. And I'm just going to wash these two guys off because I love these brushes and I definitely do not want them to get caked up with paint. So there we go. Look at that. Unlike that, I can share my festive little kitchen area with you guys. Okay, clean brushes. They're happy. I'm happy. Now, let's get back to the white paint, which is right here. I have some in the cap, probably from last week, which is fairly soft. So it won't take long to get this to be the right texture. Looks like it almost doesn't even need me to add any water to it. I guess I'll leave that very thick so I don't have to put two coats on. And it will have all day and all night to dry, and we'll just put the black outline on that plant tomorrow. Why not? There is no rush. We'll finish this painting by the end of the week anyways. I'm sure of it. At least I hope so. But I don't see any reason why I can't. So, let's bring this guy over to the side again. I know it distorts the painting a little bit. Always looks a little bit out of whack because it's on the camera is way on the side, but at least I'm not in front of the lens, which I would think is rather annoying. And you know what? I am going to add just a drop of water to this because I do want it to flow nicely. And even though it's not that thick, it could still give me a little bit of a hard time, and we're not into suffering here in the studio. We're into enjoyment, pleasure, having fun, enjoying what we're doing. And I know one thing, that's what I do. That's why I love painting so much, because it's enjoyable. I tell people I go to work every day, but little do they know. There, that looks just right. Hopefully. Let me just get rid of this excess paint. I am going to bring my chair over. There we go. And okay, so let's tackle this baby. Well, let me just think this out 1 second. Let's not rush into things. Okay. Okay. So what am I want to do here? I'll go with the double cameras. Why not? There we go. I'm going to check out the computer though. Make sure that my brain and the computer are on the same wavelength. And I'm going to start doing this. Let's go. Let's start right over here. Again, these will have a black outline as well. There we go. I'm going to try not to get my hands in the paint. There we go. I am putting this on pretty thick, I must admit, but that's to avoid me putting 2 coats on, so. There we go. Let's go over here. Okay, so what does that look like? Step back for a second. Okay, that's not bad. There we go, and for the last one, right there. Oops. It works better when you have paint on the brush. What is this little piece of crap that's screwing me up here? Thanks a lot. Ah, screw it. I'll just make it a little bit whiter. There we go. That's called cheating. No one will ever know. There we go. just like that. I'm adding on a little bit in certain areas, a little second coat right away. Okay, very good. Let me just step back and take a look. Okay, it will look different when the outline is on there. So will this guy. Okay, so we're getting there little by little. New flowers over here, a little bit over here and there. And then we're going to tackle this guy here. So I'm going to have to step back for a second and think what I want to do on that circle. Okay, so I know exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to tackle that right away. I'm going to start with some yellow little stars, then some sperms, my favorite little sperms that I love doing, and we'll see what happens with that. So, to put on my little yellow stars, you know what, I'm going to use maybe save this for the sperms and use this for the stars. Okay. Let's see another paintbrush that I got some paint on it that got all hard. And it's on a paintbrush, fortunately, that I never use. Never use this kind of a brush, and I kind of screwed it up, which is a bummer. I don't like doing that. I don't like wasting my materials by stupidity. Oh well. That's the way it goes. So, let's get back to work here. I'll get a palette, get my little knife out. Just a little dab of this golden yellow, which I love so much. And the cap is right here. And get my bottle of vodka out of the way. Okay. There we go. Got the knife all cleaned. I can hear my friend Claudine, who's coming back from the beach.
And I had a swim.
And you went for a swim?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. You're a warrior.
A bit fresh.
I bet it's a bit fresh. Whew. What a warrior. Just thinking about it makes me shiver. Okay, so I'm going to start with this upper left-hand corner. I'm going to switch halfway so I don't have to get my hands in the paint. So let's start off. Just going to do a little, put some yellow down right about here maybe. I'm going to put that on nice and thick. There we go. I'm going so fast that I didn't even think about the camera. Let me bring this up here a little bit. So, That is the first star right here that I just did. And I am going to do another one right up here at 12 o'clock. Right about there. And I'll do another one in between those two. So I can make these nice and big and wide since I made the whole outline very wide, so that's pretty cool. And then I made this a little wider, maybe it'd be easier to see. There, even though it's a little off because the camera's off to the side. And then I'm going to put one right here, kind of in between. Of course, if I'm off by an eighth of an inch, it doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to switch over and I am going to go back to my light cerulean blue. And I'm going to make get my little sperms together here. Just like that. Just like that. There we go. Okay, very good. And I'm going to continue on this right-hand side. I'll just move the camera over a little bit. And we will do the same thing again with our yellow. There we go. Get back that yellow paint. Again, try to avoid not putting my hands in the paint. So one is going to go right here. Let me bring this back a little bit. Right here, I'm going to put one and the other one in between. So I'm going to start off with this one right here. Yeah, nice and thick. There we go. And then get one here at 3 o'clock. I mean, of course, as it dries, all this thick paint is going to shrink. That's why I'm putting it on very thick so it stays really nice and opaque and I don't have to put a second coat. I usually put a little dot of very like lemon yellow in the middle anyways, something that absolutely nobody sees except myself, but I enjoy it. It makes the painting, I think, richer, even though it's extremely discreet. So let's get back to the blue cerulean. I'm going to do that right away. And get the paint on my brush so it's not just water. There we go. I mean, it doesn't look bad like that, but when you put the darker shading to these little sperms, they really look nice. There we go. So we got those done. Again, I'll switch brushes and we'll tackle the lower part of this right down here. And I'm going to see if I can't. So I'm going to put one right here, and the other one's going to go right there. So I'm going to see if I can't get my camera to zoom in without getting blurry, which it tends to do on its own. So this is where I want to go, right about there. So like that, and of course I need more paint. There we go. And I'm going to switch right away to my blue cerulean since I'm zoomed in there. Might as well. So I'm going to start off with this guy. There we go. And now I can move the camera back so we can just do the last two. Wait, 1 and 2. Yep, that's right. 1 and 2. So I'm going to just rinse that off, get rid of the excess paint on this brush, load it up with some fresh paint. And I'm going to start with the 6 o'clock star. There we go. Get it nice and thick. Just like that. And our last one, which we're just eyeballing. If it's off by a whisker, it doesn't really matter. There we go. And I'll wipe that baby off. And let's get back to our blue cerulean here. The problem is what are we going to do when I'm done with this if all the paint isn't dry yet? Okay, there's one. There's 2. 2 more to go. 3. And 4. Very good, very good. So that's pretty cool. Let's pull the camera back. Let's switch cameras again. As I move this one back here. So I'll switch back to camera number 1 so we can have an overall view of what we did so far. Okay, very good. Very good. I'll come back to here. And, okay, so we are basically done for the day, I think. I think I can just do one more thing here, and for that I need a very special brush that is broken in to do exactly what we're going to do, which is add a little bit of flowers around just to give more richness to the background. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to have to wait till tomorrow, because none of this stuff is dry. I mean, it's warmer outdoors than in the studio, that's for sure. But okay, so let's get this guy here. And I'm going to do this with white paint again. And I'm going to add a little bit more to my cap here. Like right there. A little bit more so it's nice and thick. There we go. Ready or not, here I come. Okay, so this is done. Let me just step back for a second. Take a look at. Yes, okay, I definitely want to do that. I think it's going to look very nice. But for that, I have to, like usual, get my paint to be the right consistency. And at the same time, it's going to break in my paintbrush to get softer and do what I'm going to want it to do, which is just make these little abstract little flowers, leaves, whatever they are. To me, they're just colors. I paint colors. I don't really paint anything else. Well, that's a simple way to put it. Let's put it that way. Okay, the paint looks right. Nice and creamy. So last Thursday, I did things a little differently in the sense that, well, every Thursday I do my stream in French, right? But last Thursday I decided I would stream in French, but on Facebook Live rather than on YouTube. And I figure I used to do that about a year ago, but the problem is that Facebook Live asks so much of the resources, so many bit rates that a lot of my streams were all screwed up. Either the vocals didn't work, or it would, what's the word, saccadé in French. It would like jump, you know, it would freeze, mini freezes. It was, so I had to go back to YouTube, which was a lot less demanding. And then last December, I did get a router, because here I'm on 4G. I don't have the internet. I'm using the 4G from my telephone. So with this new router I suddenly got like 5 times more of a bit rate. So I was able to try out last Thursday this Facebook Live, and it came off without a hitch, without any problems whatsoever. So I decided that on Thursdays, instead of doing it to YouTube, I'll just stream on Facebook Live, because a lot more of my, since it's a live stream, a lot of my friends are on Facebook at that time of day, which is 3 p.m. here in France, 9 a.m. in the States. So anyways, that seemed to make sense, and it just worked out pretty nice, I must admit. So let me get back to these leaves and take a look, because I want them to look like they're just random flying around, but of course they're not. They have to be put in a certain way to carry out a certain balance to the painting. So I am going to maybe bring over camera number 1 here. This is going to go rather quickly, but still. I want it to look nice. I don't want it to get sloppy. Let's put it that way. And I want to put the right amount. I don't want there to be too much, because too much is too much. I have to know when the whole thing is well balanced, when it's feng shui, as they would say. Okay, so let's go back to camera number 1 and let's tackle these little guys. There we go. And this is, I love doing this. So I don't know, I'm going to start off right here. So as you can see, the brush is just perfect for what I'm doing. There we go. Just like that. And this canvas is bouncing a lot, but doesn't matter, I guess. Let's just continue, and then I'll worry about the balance afterwards, once the thick of it is done. Just like that. Let's get one going the other way. All right. Let's have one that's going a little bit rogue. There we go. Like that. Let's get one way up here. All right. Why not have one going off right there? Okay. There we go. I'm always afraid of doing a little too much, so I'm going to spread out a little bit. Eventually, I'm going to just stop and step back and take a look from afar, because that's where these paintings usually are looked at. Like there. And this is the part where I have to get up and move and take a look. Okay, very good. I am just going to do one or two more, like even have one. There you go, the little TheZenRebel right over here, going rogue. Again, I have to step back. Okay, so I think right there is enough. I don't want to put any more. Maybe by looking at it for a while, I'll add one or two. But for now, I'm going to just leave it. To me, it seems just right. Now I'm going to tackle the top part. So I'm going to move the camera again over. Don't want to make you seasick, but that's the way it goes. Yes, I'm going to tackle this guy up here in the middle. There we go, something like that, I hope, is going to work out. And okay, I'm going to just start off like right here, let's say, and we'll figure this as we go along. All right. Like there. Have this one come all the way down here. Why not? Oops, that one slipped. Doesn't matter. Okay, starting to take shape. So how am I doing on the camera? Okay, I'm on the double lenses. I didn't realize that or forgot about it. So where am I here? Again, I'm going to go all the way down here. There we go. There's a few right here as well. Not too many. And maybe just how's that look now from afar? That looks just about right. I think I need to add just one more right in here. Just to have that balance and to make me happy. And that looks just about all right. Again, if I have to add one later, it's no big deal, I will. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it like that. Bring the camera down and go to this last little purple tree. I am going to come back here though for a second because I need more white paint. I didn't think it was going to use that much. There we go. There. Take care of the knife before everything else. There we go. And let me just twirl this paint a little bit. It can go on thick because it's got all night to dry. I know. And my brush is already nice and wet, so no need for me to put too much effort into making this more liquid. I want it to be nice and fat and opaque. There we go. This looks just right. Okay, so where am I? I am back down to this last little guy right here. And I'm going to start by stepping back and by getting a drink of water. That's what I'm going to do first, and trip over my floor, my protective tarp. Boy, I have to think of the word in French, translate it. Okay, so let's step back, take a look at what we are going to do. Okay, not very complicated. I'm going to start right here. And then we'll see where this leads. Right there. Just like that. Right there. Another one right in here. There we go. One down here. Again, want to be careful not to do too many of these. And maybe I'm just going to jump down here. Just like that. One in here, maybe. There we go. Just a few more and then we're all done, I think, with this. And of course I need one more in here, or at least the beginning or a half of one, just like that. Now let's step back and see how all that looks. Doesn't look too bad. Though I am going to pull this back a little bit because I am going to go back up and I think I need to add one more right here just to keep the balance. Yes, that makes sense. And I have to do the same on the other side as well. Maybe, let me see. First, just one more right here. Just like that. Step back. Yes. How's that look now? Okay. Now I'm looking at the lower right-hand corner and see how that, the one we started off with, see if that can't take a few more flowers, but I'm going to leave it like that. Like I said, too much is too much, and sometimes you just got to leave things the way they are. So let me get camera number one back here so we have an overview of the entire painting, see what we did today. Yeah, you see all this is still too wet. I can't do anything. Here it's too wet as well. So, and down here the same thing because I put on the paint so thick, I have to let it dry. So that's what we will do. So anyways, let's just take one more look at everything we accomplished for today. So the painting is a lot more crowded. I think it'll look a lot nicer when we add the details to the circle of the space window there and finish off the warning from the nuclear guy. And then, of course, when we do the frame, the whole painting will change and look different again. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I was thinking of doing the frame red with some yellow leaves. But maybe now I'm thinking maybe do the frame black. Anyways, we'll wing it when it's time to paint, I guess. I usually make the decision as I walk into the studio anyways. I can say today it's going to be red, and tomorrow when I walk in, I'll paint it in pink. That's the way it goes. Okay, so that concludes today's painting for the day, I guess. And we'll be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. for another edition of the painting. Whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. So I'm going to leave you with my schedule, which is on time now, and by saying, ciao mes amis.